Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a tutorial of how I did this. This is finished on artist canvas with scrapbook paper and felt. So if you want to see how I did this, keep on watching. Okay guys, oh my god. I pre-cut everything for the tutorial. If I hadn't pre-cut the stuff, this tutorial would have been like 2 hours. It took me forever to pre-cut all the stuff, but I finally have it done, so I'm hoping this goes off without a hitch. So, the first thing that you have to do is measure your piece, right? Because you have to figure out what size canvas you're going to get. This piece is, I want to say 5 by 7, 6 by, whatever it is. I wound up choosing a canvas that is 8 by 10. So I pre-cut the mat board, and the mat board I got was from Amazon. I will link it down below in the description box. And I also got quilt batting. You have to spray. I'm going to spray because I use this spray tacky glue. I also have this quilter's cut and press that I do all my cutting on. I use a rotary cutter. I used a razor knife to cut the mat board. And a good rule of thumb, at least for me, how I do it, I like to have a 1/4 inch of the fabric showing from the edge of the stitched piece. So you just have to calculate your measurements however that winds up being. So like I said, I've cut the mat board. I am going to now spray this and get the batting onto here. Now I have a spare empty box from Amazon, because let me tell you, unless you do this outside, you're going to want to protect your surface, otherwise you'll have spray glue all over your floor. And I'm also putting on gloves because you'll also have it on your hands. And that spray tacky glue works fantastic. I mean, right away it's stuck to it. So there is the quilt batting. Now, in my opinion, the hardest part, or the part where you can mess up the most, is getting this evenly around your mat board. So what I do is I will flip it over and try to evenly eyeball it. And I will just, well, that's not, so, you just have to adjust it. That looks pretty good on that side. That actually looks pretty good. Well, actually, what I need to do is now spray the whole back of this, or at least the corners, because as you're going to see, I hope this tutorial is helping you. I'm frazzled right now trying to do this. Okay, let me spray this and I will be right back. Okay, how I attach the fabric to the back of the mat board is, first I put all of the corners stuck down, and you will see why in a minute. What I do, the way I do it, is I miter the corners. So then I just go through and just fold up. And remember, I sprayed it with the tacky glue, so there's glue all over the back of this. Actually, I will do the other side first. I really love that spray tacky glue because you don't have to wait for it to dry like you do the regular tacky glue. I mean, this is dry pretty much instantly once you get it stuck on there. That is not sticking, but that's okay because I'm going to sew that shut. Okay. So that actually looks pretty good as far as being matched up. Now you see the corners are uneven. They're not perfectly straight. The key, hot mess, hot friggin' mess. This comes the trick. And I don't want to set that like that. I need to get a needle. I am going to sew up the corners. And it pulls them really tight and makes it perfectly square. Now you want to get thread that matches as close to your fabric as you can. And I wasn't thinking, and I should have pulled the thread before I started this tutorial. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to grab the thread and I'll be right back. Oh my God, you should see what my office looks like. It looks like a tornado went through it between filming my weekly update and then doing this. Okay. I picked 3042 DMC. That's really close to that. So just get a strand and I'm going to double it over to use the loop method. So basically you're using two strands. And what you're going to do, I don't even know why that canvas is here, because I got all kinds of shit everywhere. You're going to start down here and you're going to pierce through both pieces of fabric. Come through, secure it with the loop, and pull it as tight as you can. And then you just keep going. Pull. Keep going. When I get to the tip especially, I really pull because you want that tip to be, you want it to be as tight as you can get it. So then I just cut that thread as close to the fabric as I can because it's all going to be glued down to the canvas anyway. So there's one corner. That looks pretty nice and straight. I'm going to do the other three corners off camera. You guys don't want to see all that. But yeah, so I will pause and be right back. Okay, so I have all of my corners mitered on the back. And this is what it looks like. Not too bad for my first try after about 7 years. It's not perfectly lined up, but I'm good with it. Once it gets on the canvas, it'll look good. So you can put this aside for now. The next step is to get your scrapbook paper on the canvas. Scrapbook paper comes in 12 by 12. It's the most common size. This is the paper that I'm going to use for the bottom, meaning I'm going to wrap it around and just wrap it actually like a Christmas present. So I am going to spray this part of the canvas because then I can just wrap it around and stick it. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. You can play a drinking game for how many times I've said I'll be right back. Okay. So the back is sprayed, and you don't have to be exactly precise. I try to get it pretty even before I start wrapping the paper. But all you do, I just got glue on my fingers. I probably should wear those gloves to do this. That can't hurt, right? These are just plain like dishwashing gloves. It's all I had. So I just pull it as tight as I can because you want a nice crease. You just want it to look nice. It's a little awkward. Telling you, hot mess. And you can use, you don't have to use spray glue. I just do it because I find it saves time, drying time. You can use regular tacky glue. So, I don't know if you can see, but I'll show you. I just, like I said, I just fold it like I am wrapping a Christmas present. And I really try to take my time with this step. I mean, this part's gonna be on the wall, so this is not something that you're really, really going to see these edges. But you also can trim this paper and not really have to do this step either. I mean, you know, wrapping it, you could cut the paper to where it just fits exactly. All it has to do really is just cover the edges of the canvas so you can't see. I'm gonna have to spray the edges. I forgot about that. Okay. I'm forgetting so much today with this. I wanted this to go so perfectly well for you guys. I don't think it's going bad, but it's a learning curve. Like if I did this finish all the time, I would be a pro at it. And I want to keep doing it for these smaller finishes, so I will get better and better. And so will you guys if you try to do it. Okay, I have to spray this part of the canvas so the paper this will stick to that side. See, the paper got like crinkled right here, and I don't know how to fix that. And this paper is also not patterned. If I would have used patterned paper, and I was going to, you probably wouldn't be able to see that. I'm tempted to change the paper, but I didn't want to because, you know what, once I get this on it, you might not be able to see it. I'm just going to go with it for this time. I think in the future, though, to attach the paper, I think I will wind up using the tacky glue in the bottle. It's just, I can use my fingers and it's a little bit less messy, believe it or not. I have this glue all over my fingers and I just did my nails today. Okay. And see, before too, when I had done this, I had used Mod Podge to put the paper on. Yeah. So that's an option too. Okay. Your paper's on this part. This is what this looks like. And then I'm still trying to smooth that out. What's important is the top is smooth. Okay. Now I had pre-cut another piece of paper to go over this. And it's going to look like that. Now, like I said, you have to do your own measurements. Like, this was 8 by 10, so I cut this paper, I think 7.5 by 9.5. So there you could still see this paper around the edge. So I'm going to spray the back of this paper and then attach it to this. Because I sprayed the whole back, all I have to do is smooth it. Now, I've also used Mod Podge in the past to do that. The thing with Mod Podge is it takes time to let it dry because the paper will get wrinkly from the glue, but when it dries, you can't see that, and they go away. But I just wanted not to have this tutorial be 5 hours long. So there is both pieces on. Now, you could very well just attach the piece on there just like that and not have any felt or pom-pom trim or rickrack or anything. But what I did was I cut 2 pieces of felt. I used a rotary cutter blade that was a wave. It was this. And I just, again, measured another inch in, half inch on each side, so you could see this scrapbook paper. And I just cut the light brown. And I guess I should peel that sticker off, shouldn't I? Lord. And then I went in another 1/4 inch for the dark brown. So I'm going to spray the back of this felt and attach this to it. The hardest part is getting everything cut. And once you get stuff cut and the paper on, like the scrapbook paper, the trim and stuff, I don't think is the hard part. And you just match it up so you have an even margin around your edge. And I'm going to do the same thing with this brown paper. I'm going to spray the back of that and attach it on top of the tan felt. It's felt, I'm sorry, it's not paper. It's felt. And again, you just match it up with whatever margins you had cut for it. You can have a wider margin than what I did. I only wanted a little bit of the tan on the bottom peeking out. You can do whatever measurements you want to do. You can have as much or as little showing as you want. Now the final step, finally. How long is this video? 26 minutes. The final step is to attach your piece to the felt. I am going to spray the back of the piece and then just stick it right on. And again, you just go by the margins of your felt, if you did felt, and just press it on there. And that is the finished piece. I actually, for my first one, doing it like that after a couple years, didn't turn out too bad. I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. Okay, my husband was pulling up, so that's why I stopped the tutorial. But this is the finished product. I hope this tutorial was somewhat informative. I feel like parts of it were a hot mess. If you have any questions, please put them below in the description box and I will try to answer them as best I can. This actually is a really cool way to finish your projects because I think total what I spent between the scrapbook paper, the canvas, the mat board, the felt, $15, if that. I don't even think it was that. And when I bought the mat board, it came like 3 pieces, so I have 2 more pieces, so I won't have to buy that again. And the canvas was a 2-pack. So, and you can look for deals at Michael's, but the scrapbook paper I get from scrapbook.com. They have the greatest selection of scrapbook paper that I've ever seen. So that's it for me today, guys. As always, thanks for watching and subscribing. I will see you in my next video.